It's the WIP Afternoon Show with Ike, Spike, and Fritz, joined by Jesus Luzardo. Welcome. Thanks for giving us the time this year.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for having me.
So just general question from a personal standpoint. Obviously, the team you wanted to go further. From a personal standpoint, were you happy with last year?
Yes and no. I feel like first year coming into Philadelphia, it was a lot of unknown, especially with like the health that I had in 24. Knowing what I could do, I was confident in it, but just coming after a tough year, wanted to see what I had, and I was happy with it for the most part. Obviously, a couple down parts, but in general, just finishing strong, pitching well, and felt healthy going into this season. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, you mentioned health and healthy toward the end. It seemed like you got stronger at the end. Was there a key to you staying healthier last year than the previous season? Like, what was it?
Yeah, I think in 24, a little bit of like a freak thing with the low back. But at the same time, the Phillies, I give a lot of credit to the Phillies and our training staff here and our strength coaches, and just we work so well together of making sure our load management is kind of working properly, and we want to work hard at the right times. We need to pull back when we need to pull back, and just make sure that every fifth day we're ready to go and at our strongest on the field. So like you said, I felt my best as the season progressed, and I feel like I was probably my strongest at the end in October.
You coming into the game against the Dodgers from the bullpen, can you explain what kind of a rush that is? It's not your normal situation. So how do you get ready for that, and what does it feel like coming into the game?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for me. I'd done it in the past in 19. I came out of the bullpen in the playoffs, but I was way younger, so it was a lot of fun. I was kind of lobbying myself into that role, asking Topper and Caleb when I can get in, and thankful that they kind of trusted me in that role. But it was awesome. Just the adrenaline rush. You got the fans on you, yelling at you from in Dodger Stadium, and just that run in, knowing that you're facing the top of the lineup. I think that it's something that as a little kid, that's what you dream about, that moment. So hopefully get to do it again and again, and deeper into the playoff this year.
You mentioned a little bit about your struggles last year. It was crazy because before those two outings, you left 20 runs in two outings. I think you had the lowest ERA in baseball. What was kind of going through your head at that point, and how'd you pull yourself out of it to obviously end the season the way that you did?
Yeah, in that time, it was just like damage control. How do I stop, the bleeding, I guess? Because I know, you have two outings where you give up 20 runs. It's kind of an anomaly. It's not a normal thing. It's, something was going on clearly. So whether it was tipping, whether it was mechanical issue, whatever it might have been, we just wanted to dive deeper, understand what it was, stop it, put a stop to it, and get back on track. And I think that was my main thing, was just every outing is a new outing. Can't take the last one with me, whether it was good or bad. And, progressively throughout my career, I think I've matured enough to understand that it's a long season. You're going to have your ups and your downs. But, yeah, definitely you can't take each outing along with you. So the same way a hitter, can't take his at-bat out to the field. For me, it's we get to pitch every 5 days. So I got to forget what happened 5 days ago and just on to the next one.
Can you share personal goals you have for yourself this year? It's a big year for you.
Yeah, I have some personal goals that I keep kind of close to myself, but I always strive to be the best. So I always strive to be the very best that I can, and not as much like personal accolades, but I want to help lead this team, be a part of it to the World Series and win a World Championship. And for me, the biggest thing is just be healthy. 32 starts, hopefully pitch into the postseason. But I think health is like my number one biggest goal that every year is always, I think, important for me.
You envision yourself in this Phillies uniform past this year?
Definitely. I think, like I said, I give a lot of credit to the Phillies for helping me last year, not only stay on the field, but my performance on the field. And I really enjoyed my time with the teammates I have here, with the organization, the city itself, the fans, the stadium. So, I would love to. I think this organization is great.
It is, the reason that's a question, it's a contract year for you. How do you keep that? I would imagine you have to keep that out of your head, right? Because that's just another pressure point. So how do you go into this year knowing that it's there, and still just staying focused on the mission? I know personally I would be thinking about it constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, a lot of things in this game are out of our control.
Yeah.
Throughout sports in general, but so whatever happens, happens. And I think I'm a firm believer of that throughout my life. But it's just something that if I can't control, there's no point of me, losing sleep over it. If whatever's supposed to happen, I feel like will happen. So just try to go about my business, the day-to-day, work on, the little goals here and there, whether it's looking forward to the next bullpen, the next game, whatever it might be. But just try to live in that, live in the moment as much as I can, as opposed to thinking about the future.
I was going to ask you, off of that, what you just said, is there anything that you, in particular, you would like to improve upon this year when you take the mound?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I'd like to get deeper into games, for sure. Eat up some more innings. I guess it goes hand in hand with what I said about last year, is limiting, the damage and not letting those outings spiral out of control a little bit. But yeah, I mean, just the consistency. I think that the more innings you eat up, obviously you're pitching pretty well. So I think it's just staying as consistent as possible and making sure that I'm able to take the ball every 5 days and give us a good chance to win.
One of the guys that you work out in the offseason with is Andrew Painter, and I think you guys have become close in a way. What's it like working with him in the offseason, and how do you think he's looking?
I mean, he looks great. He's he's a stud, and I'm really excited for him. Just knowing him for a long time since he was in high school, and growing up in South Florida, we got a lot of South Florida guys here. But I knew him a little bit when he was in high school. Always heard his name, and really happy to just get to know him as a person off the field. And I like how hard he works. He's got a good head on his shoulders for such a young kid. Real mature about, obviously last year probably didn't go the way he wanted it to, and just his outlook on his career path and his on the field stuff is great for a kid his age. So I'm really excited for him, and he looks incredible on the mound physically, even working out, whatever it might be. But I think Philly fans are have something to be very excited about.
Speaking of Philly fans, it's one thing to come here and play as a visitor and know what that's like, but then as a Philly, what was something? Was there anything that surprised you about playing in Philadelphia last year that you didn't expect?
I mean, I guess seeing, how passionate the fans are, and how, we had I think it was a day game against St. Louis, and it was raining. It was early in the year, so it wasn't summer yet, and, we're sold out, and it's like a Wednesday, and it's rainy. It's like 1 p.m., and where you got 44,000 fans there. So it was, kind of, I guess impressed is the word, of how passionate and how faithful they are to us. Obviously, they expect a lot out of the product on the field, and rightfully so. I don't blame them for that. So that's understandable. But it's cool to see how, like I said, how passionate they are about the game.
Yeah, the funny thing about passion is that it can be both sides of it, right? Like there must have been a moment and you're like, oh man, I can't believe they're mad about this.
I mean, yeah, it's there's two sides of the spectrum, obviously, but it's hard to knock the passion. Sometimes you get booed off the field. We're in first place in the NL East. Get booed off the field, but it's understandable. They just expect the best out of us on the field. So I can't hate on that.
You're a big golf guy. Were you surprised at how good the local golf scene is in Philadelphia? And did you have a favorite course?
I unfortunately didn't get to golf as much at home, which is tough. A lot of us golf on the road a good bit.
Sure.
Because, everyone has family and this and that, and understandable, and it's a little harder at home, but I am looking forward to getting out. I want to check. I have a couple courses on my list that I need to make sure I get out to.
Yeah, you got to.
Do you swing lefty?
I do swing lefty.
Okay, there you go. Fellow left-hander. I love it. Love it.
Who are the best golfers on the team?
JT, easily. Schwarber's making his way up, apparently. I heard Keller's very good. I played with Keller a couple times already. I'm trying to think. Otto Kemp's good. I mean, we got a bunch of guys that are pretty good. So Taiwan's good. So we got a good golf group.
Jealous of baseball players, man, with the golfing. Because it's like a natural thing for you all to see
rotation.
The ball, hit the ball, And I'm stiff as a football player, man. Man, I'm jealous.
You mentioned JT. If you were to somebody who didn't know JT, right? How does he make your life easier as a pitcher with him being back this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around for a long time, obviously, so he's got a good kind of book of knowledge on a lot of guys around the league. But even with that, he does so much homework. He's such a hard worker. Physically, he prepares himself to be on the field, but he's a great backstop back there. That's first and foremost for me. You got a lot of faith in him calling games. You got a lot of faith in him throwing guys out. But just the way he manages the game, the way he goes about his business in terms of game planning and reading swings, reading takes, having a plan of each individual guy. He knows, for instance, me and Sanchi throw a little differently just because we're left-handers. We're not going to attack guys the same way maybe. So he does a good job of kind of individualizing, his thoughts on how we're going to get this guy out, pitcher to pitcher. And I think that's very important.
What was the you head into the off season? What was the main thing you were looking to accomplish? In off season bullpens and stuff like that.
I guess just refine my arsenal. Not kind of reinvent the wheel, but I just always want to be get better and better. I think this game, coming up, they always said getting to the big leagues is hard, but staying is harder, and I think that it's because the league adjusts to you very well. So obviously, had some success last year. So my thought process is guys are going to adjust to my plan last year, and now I have to readjust and give them new plans to think about. So just kind of refining ways that I can get guys out.
Well, we appreciate your time. Last year when the Phils traded for you, Jack, who was our big baseball guy, kept telling us how excited he was that you were Philly, and you lived up to it. But now the bar is high for you to live up to and surpass as well. So we're expecting big things from you. But really happy that you're Philly and wish you luck this season.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Appreciate it.